Welcome back to the channel, guys, and thank you all for joining. If this is your first time, the Accuracy Super Accurate Tarot live in the flesh and podcast. So be sure to check out the playlist for our pick a cards and the podcast. Now, this particularly isn't a pick a card, but it is the pick a card palace. So check the playlist in the video tab if you're interested. The first card you have is Nectar Springs, as you can see here. And the second card came out was this cute little bird called Silvered Streams Focus. So we have Focus and Evolve. Now, I will set the expectation that there is a man involved in some of these scenarios. There's also like haters or like somebody in the environment where for some reason you just feel out of place. It could be people, places, and things. So stay tuned for that aspect of it. And for those of you that don't have general, or those of you where it's more general, there's a strong personal message for, like it says, evolving and focusing. You're connected to a guide, okay, or God, that has a message for you that I'll deliver. And so that's why this card came out way later, but I put it here because in movies and in books, is this a stag? Spirit keeps saying a stag, because I don't know what it is. But in folklores, all kinds of movies, all cultures, there's like this super cool like white animal. I've seen this one in a movie, but it could be a horse, it could be a unicorn, whatever the case may be. But this one in particular, the movie that I remember involved butterflies, and it's crazy. Where somebody had a teacher, and then the teacher's journey was like over once this person, it was just magically like this person was ready now and could make it, could be whoever she was supposed to be without I'm stumbling over my words because it sucks. It sucks that, you have a person with you this whole time and then they're not there anymore. But it's like all these things unfolding to where it's magically your time to shine or do whatever you came to do. And then their thing is done. And the hurtful part of this movie, not your story, was that she knew the whole time. Like the lady who was mentoring this girl knew the whole time that, her journey with her would be over in this particular moment, but the girl didn't know. So anyway, I put this here because any card or animal that represents a hierarchy giving a confirmation, you going in the middle of my table. Right. So in this, I don't know if this is the same movie or I just watch a lot of movies, but there's also a storyline where you're being accepted. So somebody took somebody, maybe, I think that's what it was. I think the girl was being led to this sacred space. And if this thing showed up, excuse my, it's not a thing, but if it showed up, that meant something significant. Like she crossed over into a threshold of greatness and mysticism or magi. I don't know. Come on, I don't want to exaggerate. These people, this is common folks here. But she had been accepted and graduated into whatever, this spirit animal represented, the ancestors. It's just like a rite of passage in your culture, right? To get a yes when blending families or getting into like a raw marriage. It's like the great grandmother saying, yeah, okay, I approve type deal. So she was going through that and it popped up to give the yes, right? So there's a yes. Same time, a butterfly, a bunch of butterflies, swarmed around her, and she felt the presence of this lady that I'm talking about, whom went from human form into all these butterflies. And so it was like a bittersweet where she had her moment of passage, and so did she. But she wasn't gone. She was just different. That's one story. And like I said, that came later, but it was so beautiful and so way more important than mud ducks and y'all relationships, that I had to clear that. Now, let's go from the beginning. Let me put this up so I can focus. Okay. We're going to go from the beginning. Initially, when I saw the Nectar Springs evolve and the Silver Streams focus card come out, I saw a butterfly minding its business, eating the nectar from the plant. This little fella, when it came out, I said, what beef would a bird have with a butterfly? Because I know they both like nectar. And I'm corny like that. So I was just trying to see beyond the numbers, the content at the bottom, and the visual. What did I feel? What did my intuition lead me to see? And it was that. It was you having something that someone else wanted. And this was like they're just sitting on the ledge like they was about to come bother you. Right? Something leads you to spirit. And it might be irritation and agitation. It could come through a person or a situation or just the event that plays out. Like it's a test. And like I'm just warning you that the test may involve your environment, like where you live, where you work, who you be around, a man, right? Because he comes out. We're going to talk about that. And this is what I mean by the environment. Because when have you ever seen a deer in the desert? And I have never really seen tigers like moving through a suburban fall, autumn atmosphere. So everybody just out of place, right? We'll get to it. But yeah, this is how the story started. I wanted to stick to Nectar Springs. That could be an indication of a time frame. So the situation may have started in spring. And now, whatever it is, a clear desire, having skills in a path, and advancing deliberately with focus. So something may have already led you to spirit. Something maybe pushes you to be more courageous, and or it's just like the pro and the con of like the King of Swords energy, where the King of Swords is known for focus. And then it's also known for being easily irritated by very small, trivial things. Okay. And curiosity too. So that's what I saw first. First, I saw this card, which is you, because it came out first. But then the what's crossing it is looking directly at it. Okay. If this is a good thing, because Spirit is like, I'm going to put this card out first to butter up. Right? If it's a good thing, and like I said, it's this man, and these things, it could also be positive for some of you. And if you say, well, which one is it, baby? This ain't that. It's you and your intuition. Hold it. If it ain't happened yet, keep your eyes open and it'll make sense. Okay. This is a story. I'm just telling it. Now, I do see love, because look at those flowers, and then look at these, the Japanese shindakles, yeah? And then there's also water in an oasis in the desert. I know that the tigers sometimes represent passion and desire and all that stuff. And it's the number 22, so there's Mars energy, there's masculine energy, and then there's this beautiful little baby in the center. Now, I don't know if it's possible, and don't laugh at me, if these two different animals, if this can become this after all this, yes or no? Okay, I think Spirit said yes and no. Okay, but let's stick to it. So if there's beauty, right, your nectar, clearly your sweetness, your ability to ground yourself, your self-control, in the atmosphere of desire, emotions, contentment, overwhelm, because this is given, it could be, since I brought up the King of Swords energy, but it's given like King of Cups. This is like Scorpio energy. He's sitting in a position like the King of Cups, surrounded by the water, but there's air involved, and that's fine. So it's kind of like Aquarian, right? And the King of Swords is Aquarian energy as well. But then, like I said, they got a King of Cups vibe. So if this is personal for you, I feel you being tested by somebody who wants what you have, some annoying little irritating situation in a person or your circumstances. You out of place. You a diamond in the rough. Probably a rock in a hard spot. And or it's just like, why am I here? You could be a makeup artist or a yoga instructor and down to your soul, but you work at In-N-Out Burger. I don't know. You feel me? Like, being out of place doesn't mean it's doom and gloom and like crazy exaggerated. It's just you possibly have a gift, ability, a talent, or a desire to be elsewhere. Okay, and rightfully so, because this says rightfully so. You're not wrong about that, or being arrogant, because I know sometimes we question ourselves. We want to be humble. We want to be grateful and appreciative, and I respect that, as we should. But the truth is still the truth, and we don't want to belittle ourselves for the comfort of others. So anyway, King of Cups vibe, watching you, you beautiful. I don't know if he wants you or what you got, but I think you and what you have is like a deal within itself. You being practical, being something in a place that not a lot of that is there, makes him want you even more. But see, this isn't a crazy, fiery situation. This is like, I don't belong here either type deal. And I feel like everybody's looking forward. So if this isn't the present moment, it may happen in the future, because even the person, the hater, or the one that just admires you, whoever they are, this is also in the future. And see, the only thing looking at the past is the problem. How would that work out for you? So yeah, I thought that was crazy, because I could stay on this for a whole hour, because I went back and forth with spirit. And then I even asked, like, have butterflies and birds ever beefed? Are they territorial like a tiger or a lion would be over land, food, or whatever? And then it was like only in extreme circumstances, which could be a desert, right? Or seasonal, when they breed or whatever, only through extenuating circumstances will a bird and a butterfly beef, because how the butterfly gets to the nectar and how the bird gets to the nectar is different. So just like they're doing right here, they kind of doing what they're supposed to be doing, because it's like, I'm doing it this way, and then you use your beak to do it another way. You can go to another plant, or once I move, it may still be the part that you like is still there, because we so different. That sound good and it sounds sweet, and I am a very upbeat, bright side kind of person. But I can't lie, initially when the cards first shuffled out, I immediately felt like this card had a problem with that. We'll take out some clarifiers. Okay, so boom, we got the storyline of how I felt here. Now, this is the Sovereign Seas Mastery. It says, I stand firm amidst life's tempests. Okay, this card usually represents temptation of some sort. Cherishing my growth, and reigning sovereign over my journey. This is where this comes in, because you're being guided, and there's some things that, or some people and some situations that don't go there, don't fit. Animosity, sharing, or wanting, desire, and it's odd for some. It's not as nice as I made it sound in some situations. And your God is saying, go forward. And like I said, I know the story of the King of Cups, which is contentment. Contentment usually comes with the 10 cups. The 10 cups represents happiness, the happy ending sometimes. But it also represents all the cords, the connections, all the offers and the relationships, all the strings that were attached, the whole journey. And what is the overall goal? The overall goal of the King of Cups is usually contentment. I also picked up passive aggression. So I don't know what that's about. Okay, because I wasn't 100% clear on it, but I said I'd throw it out there that sometimes certain placements, Mars and Pisces, or our King of Cups, not in shadow, but while doing shadow work, could struggle with reactions and how do I say, like being frustrated about things but not acknowledging it, and then going off, popping off. Passive aggression is you could go off but you're not going to, but you want to but you're not. That could be growth and maturity. But if you really, really want to and you can't stop thinking about it and then you end up popping off anyway, it just means you were kind of passive about it for a while and something had to push you. That takes us back to the story of irritation and growth. Or what do I have to do to get a fire burning up in you? And spirit is like flashing the light over there. So if you got some nagging little situations going on, it could be there's in temperance and alchemy. Sometimes there's a need for the water and love. Spirit said focus on getting the fire inside. Now, another thing I wanted to say, if you have recently met someone or you meet someone in the near future, the attraction versus the practicality of it, maybe it's a conversation. There's something about, because I know when pentacles and wands come up, you know, in relationships, sometimes it talks about chemistry and attraction. Sometimes it talks about doing, like, you know what I mean? Like there could be someone who's very good for you, very solid, very resourceful, but it's not a strong sexual connection, chemistry. And then sometimes there's strong chemistry because opposites attract, or they out hunting and where they at, they don't got them like you, right? And then this represents that, like, this is you being beautiful in this place that has not much, and then here comes, you know, that, which isn't bad. It's just I'm curious about what it is. So let's see. I ain't got to be curious. We can see. Let's see what I got over here. I didn't think to get your clarifiers before I started, because I was just going to be like, tell that story. Oh, and I ain't even finished with the story because of this. So let's clarify some things first. And let's see what we have. First, I want to clarify the bird. Okay. I probably did that wrong. And somebody was like, she did that wrong because I wasn't paying attention. And I'm just doing stuff. Okay, boom. I think I did it right. Okay. Who cares? We're going to clarify the bird first. Okay. All right. Hibernation ending. Something on pause. And also something that may have been in. What did I get? Like sticks and stones, bones. That can sometimes talk about secrets and all kind of stuff. I know. In the Lenormand tarot, the bear and the coffin represent kind of like different energies. Sometimes the bear represents that. Remember, I said, when would a bird and a butterfly beef? And I said during like mating seasons, and or if there was like scarcity. So it represents a dominant figure for some of you guys. The positive and negatives could imply that dominance and control. It also talks about loss, stagnation, closure with the coffin. And usually negative or neutral indicates something coming to an end or being buried. So what I like about that is if there had been financial troubles, or if you, oh, I forgot that part. Thank you, Spirit. Duh. Okay. That's the good news. If you want this, but you've been looking at it from a distance, that's almost over. And maybe, that's what it is. Oh, okay. Well, all those other little bitty details, because I do, ask Spirit to give me almost personal readings for those of you that tune in frequently, or there are any urgent messages. And there you go, right? We got some almost personal messages out. But I'm feeling like collectively, because that's the one big detail that I haven't like talked about a whole bunch, is looking at something from a distance and wanting it, and then you didn't have it because of whatever lessons or mastery that were required of you for whatever positions you're going to fill in the future. But that changes. And so y'all were right here. See, when I said, what is this bird? Because it came out with 2 cards. So with the bear, someone in a position of authority is losing their influence, which is, hopefully it's not you, but cool. Maybe it's necessary. A dominant figure like a boss or a father is stepping back or being removed. So if there was something dominating your life, if you felt out of control, that could be being removed. It doesn't have to be a person. Now, if there was financial decline, right, a drop in income, investment losses, or some sort of ending of financial support, a physically strong or protective individual facing some sort of illness or decline. And I did see the desert. It's like 5 pentacles. So just be mindful of that. Now, if there was a protective bond, like I said, a mentor or a powerful ally, there's some sort of withdrawing of support. And for some of you, it's a guy. So that sucks, because I'm a girl and I like gifts. So there's that. Now, it could mean a boss retires. And so that's the loss of power or influence, right? It don't mean you're affected, but it could if you don't have the same pool with the next person you work for. Now, the end of a protective or controlling dynamic, I like if something has felt out of your control, you may not be feeling like that anymore. And then the deterioration of strength and vitality for some of us, be mindful of that. And it could be, if you want further details or to look into research, look at some of the issues that the King of Cups could have in shadow. And if you say, well, that's what we come to your channel for. Okay, well, if you haven't been hydrated, all right, that's one. Your environment is not the best suited for you overall. That's 2. Negative influences from authority figures, fears. I can go down a list, but we don't know. I don't like to like harp on the lower vibrational things. I love for us to talk about what's next. What's the next steps? So contentment, the passive aggression is going to kill us. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do back and forth, blow up or don't, but don't go back and forth with yourself trying to figure out which, and that's that. I don't want to harp on it. Spirit said don't harp on it. But we asked what the bird was. There goes the bird. Now, this could come by way of news, because birds sometimes represent communication, text messages, and letters. Okay, now look, we got the flowers. Okay. Now, the flowers and the luck is coming from above. It's a feminine energy. Maybe that's where your luck and goodness comes from. You could be a man. Hear me out. But the receptive energy, the nurturing energy, the light, intelligent energy, the observing, right? Instead of just beating our chest or whatever, because that's turning up somebody's health, gonna make somebody back away, and overall cost them energy, and possibly support. But if we're supportive and nurturing, if we isolate ourselves from those things, you can move a mountain. Okay, so we have a lucky lady, a mountain, and a bouquet. That gives me like the world card, the Hermit. Um, and sometimes the flower just means beauty. So some sort of harmony and balance, or a gift, some appreciation, like the Six of Wands. You get a reward for your completion of a cycle and your capacity to retreat, go within, and do all that Guru Gandhi stuff, right? So some of you guys are definitely on a spiritual journey, and it's definitely about a graduation of some sort. Now, if this is a guy, if you resonated with that, because I don't want to cover you up, we're just going to keep covering this stuff up. Let's get a clarifier for Cujo. Okay. I knew they wasn't done with something. Oh my gosh. You guys had this before. Okay, so Tower at the bottom of the deck. Now, the book, the dog, and the broom in reverse from the Lenormand deck is a very interesting combination, okay, for starts. Now, the book within itself, upright, represents secrets, but also hidden knowledge, study, education, and mysteries. Now, the dogs represent loyalty, friendship, trust, support, or a faithful person. So for some of you guys, this is a support person. For some of you, they've discovered something, and or some misinformation, something hidden being revealed, like something up in there, right? And it's like, it could, if it's negative, because I can't try to like what did I say, bright side of everybody's story. I will, but that's not accurate, right? Gotta focus on accuracy. If this is like a non-favorable situation, betrayal, disloyalty, false friendship, mistrust, and dependence. So it's like, if it's personal and it's not, if it's pertaining to your growth, your soul growth, this isn't personal, I'll say. So you lose support from someone or something to gain dependence. Maybe that's already happened. So your life changed a little bit. You couldn't do what you used to do, and that sucked for a while. But the end of that is near, because we already figured that out. So don't get all back into them fields. Now, if this is a guy, the broom in reverse talks about conflict, suppressed anger. And see, didn't I say the king, a shadowy king of cups suppresses his anger, has unresolved tension, and does talk about passive aggression. Boy, I love, Spirit is on it, right? Don't y'all love that? It's like a magic trick. That's crazy. But if this is that, that other part I talked about, sexual tension, arguments, repeated patterns, and discipline. So do we have the discipline to be practical and poised and gracious in situations where some others in our environment may want our sweet juice? That's not funny. I mean, that is funny. That ain't bad. I could say I'm not, because I try not to laugh too much, because I don't do it on purpose. I don't think it through and like laugh out of, some intentional hoo 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 or whatnot. But I try not to tell someone's story and then have giggles with it, right? Because this shit ain't funny all the time like that. Now, before I bore y'all to death or get too gossipy, because I don't do gossipy tarot. I watch it sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, but this is the high vibe and the bright side over here. You can go watch that stuff and then come back when you tired of it, right? When they start talking real crazy and you feel uncomfortable, because that's always what it leads to. Now, I said, what is this beautiful little concoction right here? I have a woman and a bird. I like that. So in this deck, the woman, the bird, and then we have the mountain. So this is the connection to the process, right? The mountain, the woman, the bird. Oh, okay. I thought I unplugged this. Sorry about that. This look, this man, because I saw the man card come out. This represents the feminine energy that I said is the boon for some of you guys, or that brings you in the most abundance. Now, even if you are a masculine alpha type dude, there's a situation, brother, where still accessing another part of yourself is going to benefit you. And I don't think I'm talking to the type of people that say, nope, I'm going to do me. And even if another part of me is required, I ain't doing it. So I'm finna lose on purpose. I don't think I had those kind of subscribers, but I could. And I respect you. Stand your ground. But the feminine energy we discussed, someone significant, doesn't have to be a woman. This card also represents that. A person, not a concept. So for some of you, it is actually a person. Okay. That sucks. I mean, maybe it doesn't suck. I don't know. I'm just so bright-sided. Let me stop. Because we talked about with you up until this moment, and then, not. And they knew it, so you can't go too far off on the deep end, like, oh, because they knew it. This was destiny. They knew it a long time ago. You just gonna find out in the moment because you wasn't big enough to handle that. They were, though. Okay. The birds talk about conversations, gossip, and communication. Now, I did see the mice. So there's also something about nervous energy. So for some of us, the deer, the mountain, the hermit energy, like I said, the improvement of health, the awareness, the finding the needle in the haystack, what's bothering us. Like you do something and you break a pattern or a habit from what you used to do because you figure things out. You are more aware or honest with yourself. You break free of passion, passive aggression, or you improve your energy and vitality by changing your thoughts, right? So it's like we substitute anxiety for confidence and creativity, however that worked for you. Now, the mountain, I love mountains, so I never really talk about the like shadow end of it. Sometimes it represents delays, blockages, isolation, and obstacles, and they be long-term burdens. So for some of you guys, the long-term burden is going in the coffin. Now, that's not, see, I can't help it. If this is a family dynamic, single parents being involved, and finances as well as contribution and support, I saw the world card with the tower, so there's some unexpected jackpot. But at the same time, others of you, this could be like you have older kids that are graduating or coming of age, and that support may not be available because I got this woman and this man dynamic and something ending, and you also learn life lessons through these people, and it's just been a whole concoction. Sound like, that to me, only because family law was a part of me getting my law education. If y'all were back a few years ago when we were Pisces TV, then they know, like, girl, she a paralegal, she at a law school, she flipped tarot cards, and then she going to school to be the metaphysical doctor. So we do a few things over here. Stick around. All right. Now, trying to talk or connect and share something is an aspect, but there's being a wall. Attempted communication is stressful and going nowhere. I feel like that's exactly what happens when somebody just want to be fast, and you are probably being guided and advised to trust your intuition and not get involved in that because that you ain't on it. Now, if you own it, go for it, but I don't think so because somebody got what you want and they think you know what I'm saying, and they blah, blah, blah. They come off a way, but they're another way, and then you coming off a way, but it's another way. And it's just, I don't know what that was. That's exactly how fear, anxiety, and shame happen. Okay? Even if it's just dating and exaggerating or, landed on too thick, or like we talked about the passive aggression of it all. But we're not going to beat a dead horse. What I thought was beautiful, these cards came out lastly, so I saved them last. I saw the dancing drops. And then I saw the dragon. And I was like, Spirit, this is a reading, okay? Because, like, what is this? We have, I embrace life's rhythm, finding joy in each moment as raindrops dance upon my path. And then I have, I bravely uncover my hidden truths, aligning my soul with the boundless wisdom of the cosmos. Now you can do that because this stag or whoever done popped up, and you part of something like legendary at this point. You in there. You part of the sister circle or the mystic moonshiners. I don't know. You're in there. One thing that could help with tension and long-term burdens is joy and humor, because you've been kicking and screaming all your life, child, or at least the last few years, and that ain't changed anything. So the least you can do is possibly try and alter, because I'm an alchemist. You may not be, but hear me out. If you can try and alter your energy, your vibration, and the chemicals inside of your body, regardless of what spell you think you're under or how the stars aligned and what's in your natal chart, energy is top tier. Science is top tier. God is too, don't get me wrong. But there are universal laws. And if you can, I don't even like saying manipulate your energy, but alter it, you may be able to attract some different things that are outside of whatever this long-term challenge is. Does that make sense? If you don't understand what I'm talking about, you can look into some research and studies. Like, they put classical music next to water and then put rock music next to water, and they saw how frequencies alter the behaviors. Well, baby, you about 70%, 80%, I forgot. It's a lot of water in you, right? And if music and frequencies can shake us up, just imagine what chemicals from anger, depression, fear do over time to your brain, your neurological system, your blood. And if you believe in the law of attraction, then we're going to attract low vibrational things because of the low vibration. You feel me? So I don't care if the grand witch of all witches put your name in a jar. If you switching your energy, you may be able to fight back a little bit. But I know a lot of you, it's like, that's not, I don't know no witch of all witches, ma'am. I just thought the video would have been cool, so I clicked on it. Well, good. I got something for you too. Having fun, being happily ever after is something that your spirit guide brings about regarding this relationship where two eyeballs come together that may not have a lot of chemistry, or they may not seem like each other's type right off. But I'm bringing you together, right? And I feel like you're going to be happier, right? It's not what you used to, but maybe that's what you need. Because, baby, I ain't got to tell you. But I love sea otters. Sea otters is like Virgo energy, work. And then we got the twins. So there may be something about Virgo and Gemini here for some of you guys. But more importantly, I felt that it had something to do with embracing life's rhythm is connected to contentment. And then bravely uncover my hidden truths is connected to the hidden truths. We literally said hidden messages, hidden meaning, something being revealed. So it could be as simple as learning something about yourself. And you shake fear, anxiety, depression, and you more chill, right? Or whatever. So I thought that was super dope. I asked Spirit, you want to lead in with something? In addition to what you've provided, okay? I'm going to pull out the reflection cards, anything that we need to reflect on. Let's see what we have here. Okay, well, that was like, yes, you do. Okay. Taking care of yourself is also productive. Okay, baby, what do they say? Mental health care days. Watch a movie. If y'all do that all the time and don't do nothing else, then do something else. But for those of you that try really hard to just jump in there in life, it is productive also to just make sure you are mentally, your appearance. I mean, you can't be a content creator or go get a promotion ashy. So just getting you together first counts as being productive. And then you have a significant part of healing is taking responsibility for the role you play in it. Okay. These my sage cards, honey. Y'all know the crow and the sage energy, they don't sprinkle sugar on top. This is real spill, and it's necessary. I appreciate it, and I hope you do too. If you did, give me a thumbs up so we can help more people. Share it in your groups. Come back and watch the video again to build our collective. And until next time.